All right, hello everyone. I think we are live. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. We already got some comments from Jane. That's awesome. Hello everyone. How's the light? How's the quality? And how's the sound, most importantly? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Cool. Let me know in the chat. Can you hear me? Hello. All right, cool. We should be live. Excellent. So this is a live Q&A. I go live every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern time for you, the business owner, to answer your tax questions. So I'm here. This is your time. 1 hour. Ask away. Now, the person that is most active today, we're giving away 2 books. All right. First book that we're going to be giving away is Thinking Outside the Tax Box. This book is filled with tax strategies that you can learn. We're selling this on Amazon for like 20 or 21 bucks, I think. It's yours for free. The person that participates the most, and my very own S-corporation Tax Secrets book, I believe already have over 30,000 downloads. Retail price $9. Today, it's free for you. Okay? Now, we got Miron here. Miron is going to be moderating the questions. Mariana is not here today. Okay? For those of you that know, Mariana is my wife. Now, Miron is going to be moderating the questions. Hey, be nice on the chat, okay? I'm kidding. You guys are always nice. All right, awesome. Let's get started with questions over here. Miron, who's the next question? First of all, let me know if you guys can hear Miron. Miron, you got to speak up on the for the mic. So I need you to be a little bit louder.
Yeah. So the first question is from Jane.
Jane.
I have been renting out my property through Airbnb as personal business, and I'm currently considering whether to put it in the LLC tax treatment. I'm not sure if it would be worth it or if there is much difference in regards to tax savings. Property is solely used for rentals and such minimum rental duration for 30 days. Therefore, I would like to know which options would be more advantageous for me in regards to paying less tax. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, Jane. Hello, Jane. All right, awesome. So, Jane, that is actually a great question. So, guys, everybody needs to understand Jane's question, okay? Jane is saying, first of all, I have an Airbnb property, okay? Airbnb property that is under her personal name. That means it's not in an entity. It is not in an LLC, okay? So I'm going to put P here for personal name, okay? Now, her first question is like, hey, Boris, do I need to move this business, personal business, into an entity? And will I save taxes? An entity such as, for example, an LLC or anything of that sort. Now, because Jane rents out an Airbnb, okay, she can certainly put it into an LLC. That could be a single member LLC, not an S corporation. That's just an LLC. Is she going to save taxes on it? Not necessarily. You might want to do this for asset protection purposes, just to kind of separate your liability away from the LLC's liability, away from the business's liability. Now, here's the tricky part with an Airbnb. If you have an Airbnb business and your average days rented per tenant is 7 days or less, and I think, Jane, you said your average day is 30 days. Is that correct? Is that what you said? Her average day rented is 30 days? Mm-hmm. So if it's 7 days or less, IRS says it's considered an active business. Now, if it is an active business, putting it into S corporation could save you self-employment taxes, but because it's a property, it's an LLC property, I don't like it being an S corporation. So to answer your question, for the purposes of this live, right, for the purposes of this Q&A, I would say put it into a single member LLC for asset protection to separate yourself out for liability purposes. I wouldn't put it into an S-corp or anything of that sort. In your case, I think you're 30 days, right? She's renting 30 days average per tenant. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Miron, you got to replace Mariana. You got to be on top of your game. Let's go. All right? So with that being said, I think you're totally fine here, okay? You're totally fine here. Does that answer your question? What was the second part of Jane's question?
Is there a difference in regards to tax savings? Property solely used for rentals and minimum rental duration for 30 days?
Minimum rental duration is 30 days. You're totally fine, okay? you're totally fine. I would just put it into an LLC, single member LLC. Now, the issue with that, when you do transfer into an LLC, you would have to do a quit claim deed because you would transfer the deed from personal name into an LLC. Now, when you do quit claim deed, and if you have a mortgage on that property, I don't know if your mortgage company is going to allow you to do that without saying, hey, your loan is due or you need to refinance, because you probably took out a loan under very favorable interest rates, and now interest rates are higher. So definitely check your mortgage documents or speak to your attorney and see if you're allowed to do it without any consequences from the bank. Next question.
Yeah, the next question comes from S. Chandler.
Chandler, what's going on?
Hi,
Chandler from Friends.
Hi, Boris.
What's up?
To pay kids under 18 from parents, partners, LLC, do I need to issue a W-2 or 1099? We haven't issued any W-2 or 1099 to pay kids under 18 for 2022. What can I do now?
Okay, great question. This is Chandler, right? So Chandler is asking a question. Boris, by the way, guys, for those of you that joined in a little bit late, we're giving away 2 free books today. My S Corporation Tax Secrets book and Thinking Outside the Tax Box. Both of these go for $30 online, but it's yours for free. You've got to participate the most, and Miron over here, who's replacing Mariana and asking questions, is going to pick a winner, okay? We're going to pick 2 winners today. So Miron is going to be picking the winner. Now, Chandler is saying, Boris, I'm hiring kids from my partnership. Now, the partnership is a parent partnership, meaning say 2 parents own the partnership. Now, IRS says if you have a partnership and 2 parents are owners, you are considered as parents. So you can pay your kids, right? Pay kids, and you get it as a deduction. Kids pay no income tax, no tax, and no payroll tax. No payroll tax. Now, Chandler is asking, should we issue them at 1099? That is correct. Issue them at 1099. Chandler says, I haven't done anything for the whole year up until this point. I didn't know how to do it. Chandler, if you have documentation on how many hours they work, what they did for you, and all of that stuff, you can issue them 1 paycheck. Make sure it's through a W-2. Record that and catch up for those payments. Going forward, do it every time they work for you, whether you have a weekly payroll, bi-weekly payroll, or whatever that may be, okay? Hopefully that answers your question. Let me know in the comments if it does. Next one.
Yeah, another question comes from Eddie.
Eddie! What's up, Eddie?
So Eddie's asking what are the 2023 limitations for passenger vehicles, and is claiming 100% business use on a passenger vehicle under 6,000 pounds by Section 179, a red flag.
If you, what's the last sentence?
Is claiming 100% business use on a passenger vehicle under 6,000 pounds by a Section 179, a red flag.
Okay, so Eddie, right? Okay, Eddie is asking, he has 2-part question. What are the limitations for business vehicle deduction for 2023? And number 2, he's asking, if I claim 100% business use, I'm guessing that's what you're asking, right? Business use for vehicle less than 6,000 pounds, is that a red flag? First of all, let's talk about the limitation. The limitation for 2023 for vehicles, for Section 179, and special depreciation, all of that stuff, if the vehicle is more than 6,000 pounds, you can take 80% of the purchase price in 2023 as a deduction. Now, previously, it used to be 100%, okay? Now in 2023, the limitation is 80%. So that's first question. Second question, Eddie is asking, what if I use vehicle 100% for business use and the vehicle is less than 6,000 pounds? Doesn't matter. There is no red flag as long as the vehicle is being used for the business 100% and the vehicle is less than 6,000 pounds. Unfortunately, you cannot take 80% of the deduction in this first year. You would have to follow the depreciation rules for vehicles to take that. Next question.
Yeah, the next question comes from Monica.
Monica, what's going on?
I inherited oil and gas royalties in August 2022. Income for 2023 is projected to be $400,000. Which entity should I create, if any?
Wait a second. So Monica, you inherited. She inherited what? Oil and gas. What?
Royalties.
Royalties. Okay, so you inherit oil and gas royalties, right? And I'm guessing the royalties are going to be generating you $400,000. If that's correct, let me know in the chat. Say yes. $400,000 for the year. So your question is like, should I form an entity? No, you don't have to form an entity because royalties are not subject to self-employment tax. There's no expenses associated with them that you can take any expenses for it. So you're fine, okay? And probably the oil and gas royalties that you did inherit, they were already probably coming in from an entity. So you should be protected on that end. Very limited information based on what you gave me, but you don't need to form another entity to save money on taxes, so to speak. Next one.
I think Chandler.
By the way, the person that participates the most, guys, gets these free 2 books mailed to them personally. Retail price for them both is $30. Today, it's yours for free. Miron is gonna pick two winners. By the way, if you're watching the replay, comment in the comment section below. Let's get some engagement going. Even if you have questions, put it in. We do check replay questions, and we do sometimes answer them. Let's go.
And
Chandler.
Asking follow-up question.
Follow-up question.
Can they issue a W-2 now for the kids?
So Chandler is asking about the hiring children, right? So Chandler, but first of all, you need to issue them a paycheck through your payroll processor. On the paycheck, you want to make sure there's no federal income tax and no payroll taxes. The reason I say no payroll taxes because in Chandler's situation, he's a parent LLC, right? It's 2 parents own an LLC. If you have an S corporation, you can't quite do this, right? So there has to no payroll tax. Now, the W-2, Chandler, is issued in 2024 between January 1st and January 31st. So you want to issue a W-2 then. Right now, you want to focus on processing paychecks through your payroll company, whoever you use for payroll. Next question. Can I get some love in the comment section? Say woohoo if you're enjoying it. Let's go. Let's go. Let me see some comments, guys.
Jane's asking follow-up question.
Jane is asking follow-up question.
So like I'm solely accountable for the cleanliness of my Airbnb, which consumes a significant amount of my time. Would engaging in this task aid in lowering my taxes? Okay,
so this is who's asking? Huh? Jane. Okay, so this was the first question that Jane asked before. So let me kind of bring you guys up to speed to what's going on. We only got the woohoo from Eddie. Unacceptable, guys. Unacceptable. All right, cool. So Jane, first of all, you have an Airbnb. It is not by definition of the IRS considered a short-term rental. It's not, because the average rented days is not 7 days. In your case, it's 30 days, okay? And if your Airbnb, first of all, let me ask you a question, and I need you to answer in the chat right now so I can see that. Is your Airbnb profitable, or do you have a paper loss, like, after depreciation? Let me know in the chat right now. I'll wait 10 seconds. Jane, let's go. Okay, I'm going to answer the question. I'm assuming it is profitable, okay? Because Airbnbs, generally speaking, are profitable compared to regular rentals, okay? So what happens is that if your Airbnb is profitable, okay, you have to claim that income, okay? Now, if it's not profitable, if it has a loss, then because you said it takes up significant amount of time, you have to qualify for real estate professional by the IRS definition rules. I'm briefly going to cover it on this live Q&A. It's a very in-depth conversation. I have a video on it on my YouTube channel about claiming rental losses against your other income. That's the title of that video, okay? So super, super important. Go ahead and watch it. But by the IRS definition, you have to qualify as a real estate professional to claim losses from your rental property. Now, that means you have to have more than 50% of your personal services throughout the year has to be in real estate, okay? And that is a minimum of 750 hours. So if you have another job that's taking out a lot of your time, then If it's more than 50%, you already do not qualify for it. Now, if you do more than 50% on real estate and it's 750 hours or more, and you're spending 500 hours on this one property or combined properties of all the properties that you own, then you can take losses from that Airbnb and deduct it against your other income. Next question.
So Monica has a follow-up.
Monica?
Yeah.
Monica has a follow-up.
I am a sole proprietorship in a service and company and have medical, dental, and I need to write off for 2023. Should I convert this sole proprietorship, which will increase going forward, or should I create a non-profit? I need to convert the sole proprietorship to offset the gas and oil royalties, or what do you suggest?
Well, first of all, great question, right? It's a two-part question. Number one, I've got a sole proprietorship. Number two, can I use the sole proprietorship to offset gas and oil realty, right? Gas or oil realty. Now, royalties. I said realty? Yeah, royalties. Okay. So, Monica, here's the thing. If you have a sole proprietorship, it has nothing to do with your gas and oil royalty. Your sole proprietorship, as you just mentioned, is going to be generating you more income in coming years. So it is more income on top of your gas and oil royalties. Gas and oil royalties stays as is. Now, sole proprietorship, you can do things in sole proprietorship, take certain deductions against sole proprietorship income. Such as you said, you have personal health insurance, including dental and vision, you can certainly deduct that. What I also recommend, if you profit $80,000 or more in your sole proprietorship, you should start converting into an S corporation because you're going to save money on self-employment taxes. You're going to get a bigger deduction on health insurance because you don't have to pay FICA taxes on those premiums because it'll be part of your W-2. Okay, you can also use what's called a solo 401k because with the sole proprietorship you can use both SEP IRA and solo 401k, but we usually use that in conjunction with an S corporation. Kind of gives really nice deduction that feeds into your reasonable compensation as well. Yeah, so hope that answers your question. Next. By the way, guys, if you like this video, if you like this, please put in likes because YouTube can promote it to more business owners so they, as you, can save more money on taxes. And the person that participates the most today, we will mail them 2 of my copies. Thinking outside of the tax box, an S Corporation Tax Secrets book, retail price online, it's about $30 for both. You can get this for free by just participating with your questions. And if you're watching the replay, also participate with your questions. We will be checking the comments on the replay section. See who asks most questions on the replay or puts in the comments. We'll pick a winner from the replay as well. Let's go. More questions.
Is there a problem in section 179 if vehicle is insured?
Who's asking the question? Who's asking the question?
Eddie.
Eddie, what's up, Eddie? So you in the vehicle, huh? You in the vehicle. All right. So Eddie's saying, is there a problem if the vehicle is on the employee's name, right?
And not the company.
So Eddie, I'm guessing you are the employee of your business.
Is insured.
Huh?
If the vehicle is insured under the name.
Under whose name? You're saying
Employees.
employee.
Yeah.
Is it you are the employee or other employees? I would guess that you are the employee of that business. It should not be a problem for this deduction. Next question.
Aaron's asking a question.
Aaron. Hello, Aaron.
I have an S-corp. My daughter is 18 and in college. I'm paying some of her tuition. She's not on my tax return. She's on her dad's divorced. Can I give her tuition benefit as one of my employees?
So Aaron is an S corporation. Her daughter is over 18 years old. She pays for her tuition. And she's not claiming the child. So, what strategy can Aaron use on her taxes? Okay, first of all, Aaron, if your daughter works for you in your business, you can hire her in your business. You are going to pay payroll taxes, but if you pay her up to $13,850, your daughter does not have to pay any income tax on it, and you get a deduction. The only problem with that is that you're going to pay payroll taxes and your daughter will pay. That's Social Security and Medicare taxes being withheld from a W-2. That's one thing. You don't have to claim the child, so don't worry about that, okay? Your daughter can still be claimed by her father or whatever that may be. Now, instead of you paying the tuition, now your daughter can pay the tuition from the money, so from the salary that you give her. When she reaches age 21, okay, for tax purposes, there's something that's called under Section 127. She's considered an owner of the business because she's the daughter of the owner that owns more than 5% of the S corporation, just for this rule, okay? Now, when at age 21, she hits age 21, she's not considered a daughter of the owner of the business. That means you can pay tuition reimbursement. I have a video on it. I probably released it a few months ago. It's Section 127. We have it in the playlist in the hiring kids or strategies for kids on my YouTube video. Watch that video. Over there, I talk about how you can utilize Section 127 to pay your child for college tuition up to $5,250. It's tax-free. It's payroll tax-free. It's a great benefit. Next question.
So Chandler has a follow-up for his W-2 about his children.
Chandler, let's go.
This is for 2022.
Are you making note? We're asking the most questions?
Yep.
Guys, it's Miron's first time reading out the questions. He's not Mariana. Mariana is not here today, okay? So go easy on him with the questions. By the way, can everybody hear Miron's voice? Say yes in the chat. We're not going to continue until you say yes or no in the chat. Can everybody hear Miron's voice? Let me know. Yes. They can hear. Boom. All right. Oh, Mariana's commenting. Hello, Mariana. It's nice of you to join in. Okay, Miron, let's go. It was Chandler, right?
Yes.
Chandler.
So he's asking, this is for 2022, and we already paid the kids by direct deposit in December of 2022, but failed to issue a W-2. Are you saying we issue them a W-2 for 2022, pay in January of 2024?
No, that is not what I was saying, Chandler, okay? I thought you were talking about 2023. Now, let's go back for a second. You have a parent corporation, okay? Excuse me, a parent LLC, not a corporation. A parent LLC, which is between you and your spouse. You paid your kids on the direct deposit in 2022. Now, it looks like you made a lump sum payment in December of 2022. I'm okay with you making that lump sum payment if you didn't know that you had to pay them on every pay period. And as long as there is a documentation of what they did for you in the business, what type of work, and you have a documentation, a comparable rate of why, justification, so to speak, of why you're paying them that salary. Now, you paid them in 2022. You didn't file a W-2 for them, okay? If I was your tax advisor, I'm not saying take this YouTube video and bam, run with it. If I was a tax advisor, I would find a way to make it deductible for you for 2022. It's kind of a little bit outside of the scope of this video for me to get into details. That's why I always say I'm doing these live videos for you guys to get a general idea, but you gotta work with a tax advisor to get this done. For 2023, do what I told you earlier before. For 2022, can it still be deducted as long as you have all the proper documentation to support why you pay them, what you pay them, and what you pay them? Okay, I would make it work for you to take that deduction in 2022. Going forward, you have to start issuing in W-2. Now, no, I did not say issue a W-2 in 2024 for 2022. What I said is that you issue a W-2 in 2024 January for 2023 for what they're doing for you right now. For 2022, it's a little bit too late. Can you go ahead and issue a late W-2 because there is no payroll taxes, there is no federal withholdings? You could, because you're not going to pay any penalty, right? Because you didn't owe IRS any additional taxes on that as an employer, so you would be good. So speak to your accountant, possibly doing that. Okay, cool. But guys, just hear me out. All the tax strategies we're discussing over here, most of accountants do not utilize, do not implement, because their job is very simple, and it's a good job, right? Is to put the right numbers in the right boxes. Their job is to be tax preparers. I used to be tax preparer. Nothing wrong with that. The next level is tax advisory and planning. All of these things that I give you today needs to be taken advantage of with your tax advisor. If you don't have a tax advisor, you're looking to work with a tax advisor, you can speak to us. You can go to www.taxplanningcall.com. www.taxplanningcall.com. We have that in the description of this live. Miron is also putting it in the comment section as well. Now, for those of you that participate the most with questions, and if you're watching the replay, put your questions in the comments. We will pick a winner, even from the replay, and we will send you 2 books for free. Thinking Outside the Tax Box. This is my book, and this is my book, S Corporation Tax Secrets. Retail price $30. For you, it's free today. Miron is going to pick 2 winners. Miron, are you keeping track of who you're going to pick? All right. Let's go. Next question.
Okay.
You didn't miss anybody, right?
I don't think so.
All right. Guys, we've got half hour left. Let's do this.
Yeah, let's. Aaron is asking a question. Can you deduct home office expenses from the S-corp and personal taxes? If not, which one is better?
So Aaron is saying, Boris, I've got a home office. Should I deduct my home office from S corporation or on my personal taxes? First of all, I don't know why you would deduct it on your personal taxes unless you have another sole proprietorship business that you could use to take your home office. Now, if you have a second sole proprietorship business, deduct it on the personal taxes under Schedule C, because it will also reduce your self-employment taxable income, which is great. If you don't have that and you only have an S corporation, then you can deduct it through an S corporation using an accountable plan. I put all those details out in a home office tax deduction video on the YouTube channel that I have. Also, if you're an employee of your own business, right? Or let's say you don't have a business, but you're an employee of another business and you work from home, IRS doesn't allow you to write a home office anymore, or working from home, so to speak, or W-2 expenses as a W-2 employee on your personal taxes. So the only way you can take advantage of the home office deduction is being a business owner. Next question.
Next question comes from Scott.
Scott.
As a business owner, can I contribute to my SEP IRA and also Roth IRA during the same tax year?
Yeah, absolutely. You can. So the question that Scott has, right? Scott, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Said, hey, can I do SEP and can I do Roth? The general question is yes, but without knowing your total income, there's some income limitations for Roth IRA and the SEP IRA. I can't tell you more in this video, so definitely speak to your tax advisor, put all the numbers together, do financial planning for this, because this is important. Roth IRA is tax-free money that is growing and growing tax-free in your retirement account. Next question.
Aaron is asking, can an RV qualify as a vacation home?
Can an RV qualify as a vacation home? What expenses do you have on that RV? Are you paying off the interest? Are you paying personal property taxes? What expenses do you have on that? Next question.
Next question comes from Chris in S-corp. How do you base reasonable salary on income that change from month to month on a fixed percentage?
Good question, right? This was Chris, you said?
Yeah.
All right, Chris is saying, Boris, every month, right? And this is a common thing with every business owner, right? Chris says, Boris, every month my income is different, right? So how do I do my reasonable compensation? This month I could make $10,000. Next month I could make $18,000. The third month I could make $5,000. So how do I determine my reasonable compensation? The reasonable compensation is determined on an annual basis. So if some business owners don't even have any income in a certain month, you don't have to pay yourself, you don't have to pay yourself a salary that month, as long as by the end of the year, you have a reasonable compensation equals that total amount. Next question.
Next question comes from Irene.
Irene, hello, Irene.
I have an S-corp,
S-corp.
a dump truck company, and I have a driver. I'm an employee with
A
another
dump truck company? What?
Dump truck?
Who's dumb? Who is he calling dumb?
I'm an employee with another company. Do I have to pay myself a salary?
Let's do it again. I want to get all the facts. So Irene has an S corporation, right? Let's read the whole thing again.
So I have an S corporation. and a truck company, and I have a driver. I'm an employee with
Truck company.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Truck company, and I got a driver in the truck company.
I'm employed with another company.
Also employed. Okay.
And do I have to pay myself a salary?
Okay. So I'm guessing that the truck company is an S corporation, and you've got an employee there, okay, who is a driver, and you also receive a W-2. Now, to answer your question, you do have to get a reasonable compensation from an S corporation. You do have to pay yourself. Maybe you're not putting in as many hours in there, but you still have to do it. Because remember, I always say this. By the way, IRS is increasing audits this year. One of the things they're going to be focused on are S corporation and reasonable compensation salaries. And for those of you that don't know, IRS is actually implementing and deploying AI into their system so that AI can make suggestions and recommendations. Hey, IRS, take a look at this return. I think this should be audited. And then the IRS will take a look at it like, all right, you know what? That's a good idea. So there will still be approval process from what I'm reading online and kind of seeing what's going on with the IRS recently, right? Crazy stuff. IRS is using AI. So not only you guys can use ChatGPT, so does IRS. So because they need artificial intelligence to be able to do more audits. Now, do they have enough agents to still do audits? No, right? I did a whole video on this, how 87,000 new agents doesn't really mean 87,000 new agents. Watch that video I made. It's an incredible video with all the statistics that I put together. But to answer your question, and I want everybody to know this, okay? If you have an S corporation, you file Form 1120S. Line 7 of 1120S is officer compensation, okay? That means IRS is looking at this line to see, hey, what is line 7? Is it 0? And then I think on the third page of the tax return, I don't remember exactly, third or fourth page, I think third page, it talks about, it asks distributions, right? So IRS is comparing these two. Wait, this guy took $500,000 distribution and no salary. We got to pull him for an audit, right? So to answer your question, was it Chris? I think, right?
Yeah.
To answer your question, Chris, you've got to pay yourself a compensation, and you're going to be like, well,
No,
Boris, Aaron, no, Boris, it could be $20,000 compensation. It's still very little. Yeah, but can you back that up? Can you show like I don't really do much in that S corporation? I've got a driver. He's doing all the work. I'm just doing kind of admin, and I really have a full-time job. Then it's okay to be audited and prove your case, so they leave you alone for the future. Next one.
Aaron's asking another question.
Aaron,
can you talk more about this? Correctly classified business meals that qualify for the 100% deduction rather than 50% deduction.
Yeah, you know what, Aaron? I'm going to skip this question because you gave me an idea. Let's write it down, Miron. I'm going to do a full YouTube video on meals deduction, okay? Exactly what qualifies as 100%, exactly what qualifies as 50%, and so forth. Next one.
Jen is asking,
Jen.
does it make sense to have 2 S-corps? I'm the only owner of both.
Does it make sense to have 2 S-corps? So I did a video on this a while ago. I personally do not recommend having a second company as an S corporation. I always find out what is the purpose of the second company. Now, it could be that first S corporation can own the second S corporation, and everything rolls into the first one, and from the first one, you can pay yourself a reasonable compensation. Now, if you already have 2 S corporations, it's totally fine. You didn't do anything wrong. You're not like overpaying in taxes. It's just that it's not necessary for you to receive W-2s from both companies, right? We always want to make sure the second company, what's the purpose of it? In most cases, business owners, when they open up a second company, it's really a passive company, something they invested in, they have a partner, and they're kind of helping the partner a little bit. You don't need to be an S corporation owner in that company or whatever that may be, right? So every case is different. To answer your question generally, yeah, it's totally fine. Next one.
Aaron.
I
started.
Looks like Aaron's getting the book today. Guys, for anybody that participates with most questions, gets these 2 babies mailed to them for free. If you're interested in working with us for your tax advisory, guys, that's exactly what we specialize in. You can go ahead and visit www.taxplanningcall.com. We have a link in the description as well. www.taxplanningcall.com. If you're watching the replay, comment in the replay below, and we will pick a winner from the comments from the replay as well. Let's go.
I started the S-corp.
That's Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Started an S-corp in August previously sole proprietorship, can I deduct home office for the whole year as reimbursement under S-corp?
Okay, so Aaron, actually, great question, right? So I want everybody to pay attention. So Aaron, he was a sole proprietorship, right? That's what he said. When you say sole proprietorship, I'm assuming you were not even an LLC, okay? So sole proprietorship up until August, and then S-corp from August until, let's say, end of the year. So you can take your home office as a sole proprietor because you do need to report your income and expenses as a sole proprietor and Schedule C, assuming you are not a single member LLC, okay? You can take home office 1 to 8 months on Schedule C, and then from August to December as an S corporation and reimburse yourself through an accountable plan. I have a great video on it on my YouTube channel on a home office deduction. Next one.
Next question is from Chandler.
Chandler.
We used Augusta strategy in 2022 and rented our house for company meetings for LLC last year, but didn't issue any W-2 or 1099 to ourselves. Can we still get a deduction?
Okay, so you can take this advice from here and run with it. I'll tell you generally, I'll tell you what I would do for my clients, right? So first of all, this is Chandler, right? Okay, Chandler, number one, next week we're releasing a video on YouTube, and everybody who's on this live must watch it because I talk about how IRS audits Augusta rule and IRS wins. IRS shoots and IRS scores, okay? And there was a court case that just recently came out with IRS's decision, and I love that court case, not because the person lost, but because they did something wrong, and IRS told us, hey, just do this right. This is how you need to do it, and we'll let you take the deduction. Augusta was being audited, Augusta Masters rule, right? So in 2022, Chandler used an Augusta rule. Augusta rule, for those of you that don't know, you can rent your home to anybody in America. It doesn't matter, right? Or anybody really. Anybody in America who has a home can rent it to anyone up to 14 days and not pay any income tax on it. When you're a business owner, it creates an opportunity for you to rent the business to yourself, okay? Up to 14 days. Now, Chandler says, Boris, I rented the home for myself for 14 days using the Augusta in 2022. I didn't issue a 1099 nor a W-2. First of all, there is no W-2. What you do need to do is issue a 1099, okay? And fill up box 1 of that 1099. Box 1, I think it's the reds. Now, you still can issue a 1099. It will be considered late. That's totally okay. I think the penalty for that one will be $100 or $175 if or when you get audited. Whatever the penalty may be, very minimal. You can, for issuing a late 1099. You still can. Now, in order for you to deduct the Augusta rule, I'm going to say it now, and I'll say it again, and I will continue repeating it. As I said in my video that I'm releasing next week, you want to make sure you're document proof. You have the information of people that attended the meeting, what was discussed. You have comparable rates to make sure that you didn't take the number out of your, you know what I mean, right? You actually have documentation for it, but yes, you can. If you were my client, I would make sure your documentation is solid. I would do a 1099. I would totally take this deduction. You do have to report that income on Schedule E of your personal taxes and then take an exemption deduction for that same amount on Schedule E and not pay any income tax on it. I hope that answers your question. Next one. Guys, we have 20 minutes late today. I have a hard stop at 1 o'clock. We can't go over today, so we'll try to answer all questions as we get them.
So Irene is asking about his trucking business. Do I pay myself with W-2 or 1099 from his S-corp? And he's not in a
W-2, no 1099s. Remember what I said. IRS is asking for reasonable compensation. That reasonable compensation is a W-2. Next question.
Aaron's asking, husband is W-2 employee and has health insurance for our whole family. Can we write off extra health expenses, co-pays, for example, under S-corp or personal?
Yeah, so if you have an S corporation and your husband has a job that offers health insurance, you can take health insurance deduction. That's one of the rules that IRS says. If your spouse has a job that offers health insurance, even if you decide not to take that health insurance that they offer, you can take your own business health insurance deduction for yourself. Next question.
Jen is asking.
Jen, hello, Jen. I don't think we heard from Jen earlier today.
Oh, we did.
We did?
Yeah.
All right, Jen. How come you didn't tell me?
Can I still deduct tuition
You
costs?
doing your job correctly over there? I don't understand.
I paid for my daughter if she's going to file for her own tax return.
Say it again. Jen said.
She's asking, can I still deduct tuition costs if I paid for my daughter if she's going to file her own tax returns? She's a full-time student with a part-time job.
So Jen, I told you earlier before. So the section 127 deduction can only kick in when she's 21 or older. If you want to pay your child on a W-2 up to $13,850, you can do that. You would just have to pay payroll taxes. Now, if she has a part-time job, your daughter, she can still work for you. Next question.
This comes from William.
William, first time, right?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Definitely. My real estate business has been organized as an LLC for 20 years. Can I change my status to an S-corp, or must I form a new legal entity as an S-corp?
Good question. So this is William, right? William, excellent question, right? So, William, are you still with us? Let's say yes in the chat. I want to know if you're still with us. Now, William says, I have a real estate business that is organized as an LLC. Can I put my LLC as an S-corp, or do I need to open a new business, a new entity? So, when you say I have a real estate business, I'm assuming you're not holding or owning any real estate properties. You could be a real estate agent, or maybe you're flipping properties, whatever that may be. And if you are an LLC, you don't have to open a new entity, and you don't have to get a new EIN. You can just file Form 2553. I have a whole video on it on YouTube, actually, how to file Form 2553 to be an S corporation. Remember, in America, there is no such thing as creating an S corporation. If you want to form a corporation or an LLC, if you form a corporation, you're automatically a C-corp. You have to elect to be an S-corp. If you form an LLC, you are automatically a limited liability company for tax purposes, and you have to elect, right, to be an S corporation. So it is always a separate step. Now, William, what I normally recommend is I do not recommend doing the Form 2553 by yourself. I made a video on it on YouTube because there's still people who don't take my advice and try to do the Form 2553 on their own. So I was like, you know what? Let me just make a video for people so they can do it on their own and without any mistakes. Because it's important to do this form correctly. But what's more important is for everybody on this call listening, on this live Q&A, if you have a business, if you have a profitable business, you are overpaying in taxes, because the only way you can pay less in taxes is, number one, working with a tax advisor, using proactive tax planning strategies, and really being proactive and not reactive to your taxes. So, William, please, S corporation requires planning. There's many deductions that can go hand in hand with an S corporation. So, definitely try to work, if you can, with a tax advisor on this. Next one.
The next one, can you use Augusta rule and take the home office deduction for the same property? Comes from Eddie.
Eddie says, hey, I have a home office, but I also want to use the Augusta rule for the same home. That is correct. You can. Can I combine both? Because let's say you've got a 5-bedroom home. I don't know, right? I'm just making this up. 1 bedroom, which is 200 square feet, is being used for home office. When you're having an Augusta meetings in your home, you're probably using a living room as a conference room, right? You've got a nice big dining room table. You convert it to a conference room table. Put up your whiteboard. You have a meeting, and you're doing all these things. You can totally do that because it's not in your home office, right? Most likely. Next question.
Next question from Irene.
Irene!
Can I have 5-day company meeting in, let's say, Cancun, and then deduct on my S-corp? Also, can I deduct the attendance airfare?
Yes. Go to Cancun. Absolutely. I made a video on it, actually. I forgot the name of the video. It's on my YouTube channel. I talk about foreign vacations, actually taking it, turning them into a business vacation. More details on that video. Definitely watch that video. You're going to get a lot of nuggets. Like that video, share that video. Many business owners need to know that. General answer is yes. As long as it's for business purposes, there's some things you have to make sure you qualify. The meals, the travel, the hotel, everything will be deductible. Next.
So Christy is asking a question.
Christy!
I'm an LLC taxed as an S-corp.
Okay.
What rules and regulations, formalities should I follow? The ones of an LLC or the ones of an S-corp?
Christy is an LLC filing from an S-corp. What rules and regulations should I follow? Run from the IRS. I'm kidding. There's many things. You got to work with a tax advisor. Now, the rules and regulations, one of the things to note is when you do have an S corporation, you have to file a separate business tax return. It's Form 1120S. The due date for that is March 15th of every year, unless you file an extension. You also have to pay yourself a salary and a payroll. That means you have to file quarterly payroll tax returns. You have to have appropriate withholdings, file 941s, state returns, and state unemployment insurance. Now, that's why I generally recommend, if you have an S corporation, you want to have a profit about $80,000. A business profit $80,000 before converting it to an S corporation. The reason is because you've got so many extra things you got to do, which also costs you money, and you want to make sure that converting to an S corporation actually saves you money. I would say 80,000 is a good mark to go by. Next.
The next question comes from Asa.
Asa, is that same Asa?
I'm a new client of your company.
You're a new client of our company? Get out of here.
Great information as always. 2 questions.
2 questions. Asa,
Right.
you don't even need to come on live anymore. You've got a dedicated tax advisor from our team. But I love having you here. What's your question?
I'm going to Colombia next week.
Colombia.
How do I prove it is a business trip?
How do I prove it's a business trip? Now, Asa, I'm not going to get into details on this Q&A, okay? I definitely want you to watch that video I have on YouTube. Miron, since Miron, right, Miron, you enrolled Asa. Miron is going to send you a link to that YouTube video, and we will talk about, in that video, I talk about how to convert your, foreign travel into a business travel, okay? Next one.
Aaron?
That's it, no more questions? We're calling it a day. We're going home.
I got one from
Aaron. Okay, let's go.
follow up on my previous question. Am I in trouble if I haven't paid myself through a W-2? I paid myself with 1099. From an S
You
corp.
talked about an S corporation, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Aaron. I want to know, did you already file your 2022 taxes? And are you asking a question about 2022 or 2023? Let me know.
And Aaron's asking another one. Can I write off the cost of going to amusement park, zoos?
Stop with these questions, Aaron. Let's just answer the first one. That's the all right. You said yes. Yes, what? 2022 or 2023? Work with me here, Aaron. I'm trying to help you. Okay, Aaron is 2022. Okay, Aaron, and you already filed taxes for 2022, I'm assuming. Say yes or a no. 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 Yeah. Okay. File 2022. Okay. Already filed, and you didn't report any officer compensation. What I'm guessing, if you have a smart accountant working with you, he could have reported your 1099, not necessarily the correct way, technically correct way, but he could have reported your 1099 as an officer compensation, and that could be okay. Okay. But going forward, you gotta do W-2s. Next question.
So it came from a different Aaron.
Different Aaron.
So
Oh,
can I
okay.
write off the cost of going to museums, parks? I'm working with students that have disabilities and learn how to navigate and function in different environments.
Okay, Aaron is asking an excellent question. Guys, pay attention to this, okay? This is how you learn to write off anything and everything. Okay, Aaron is saying, number one, Aaron works with, first of all, Aaron, I am assuming you are a business owner and you do this for a living, right? Working with disabled kids. Disabled kids. And you help them to function in an environment, right? Say it again. What was that, Miron?
Can I write off the cost of going to amusement parks and zoos if my job is working with students that have disabilities, learn how to navigate, function in different environments?
Okay, function in different environments, right? Function in different environments. So do those different environments include amusement parks? Like if you can prove that you're regularly taking the disabled children to different amusement parks and showing them how, and teaching them how to basically function in such an environment, that when you go by yourself and you're documenting what is it that you're doing in that amusement park, so that let's say you're learning the new ways to bring the disabled kids for easier path, from instead of ABC path, that's like ADF path, and you want to show them show them certain attraction first and teaching them certain things. Like if you've got all those documentations and if you get audited and IRS says, why you went to amusement park 5 times? You're like, oh, here's the documentation. It's exactly what I did because after my trip alone, I was able to take the kids that I work with and follow this program that I outlined when I was there alone. Remember, IRS says in order for you to take a deduction, it has to be ordinary, necessary, and also reasonable in nature. So if it's ordinary and necessary for your business, which what we just described makes it ordinary and necessary, and it's reasonable in nature, then you're totally fine. Again, I'm assuming you're a business owner. You're not doing this for a job. Because if you're doing it for a job, as a W-2 employee, you can take these expenses. Okay, next question.
Ace is asking, which kosher steakhouse restaurant will I take you and Miron to when I visit?
Asa! All right, so Asa is asking an excellent question. Everybody listen up. Everybody must learn the answer to this question, okay? So Asa is saying, Boris, now that I'm a client of your firm for tax advisory, right? He says, now that I'm a client of your firm, when I come to New York to visit you, number one, he already asked that before. Can I take it as a business trip because I'm coming to visit my accountant? Yes, you can, right? Number one, you can take a business trip. Number two, he said, Boris, I want to take you and Miron out to a kosher steakhouse. Guys, not a takeout. We only eat at steakhouses, okay? So, kosher steakhouse. Asa, I don't know if you can afford it, but if you can, boom, we can go to. There, why did it skip? Marianne, are you here? Which kosher steakhouse is that? Oh my God, why did I forget it? 1 second. Reserve Cut. Reserve Cut, yes. Reserve Cut. Reserve Cut. It's on Wall Street, right there by the New York State Stock Exchange. And it has a private parking and everything. Listen, you've got like 5 waiters taking care of you, 3 waiters bringing desserts, 5 waiters bringing entrees. Asa, we can make it happen. You coming to New York? All right, cool. Next one.
So Tony's asking, my sister is non-resident and she doesn't have a green card.
Sounds perfect, Asa said. When are you coming in, Asa, by the way? So I can make arrangement, block my calendar. All right, next one. I'm sorry, what was that?
Tony's asking.
Tony! Hello, Tony!
His sister doesn't have a green card and we want to pull our money to invest in apartment rental. How should we structure our entity?
That's not a question for me. To remind you, your sister doesn't have a green card, want to pull money together to invest in real estate, and for her involved, I don't know, maybe like a conversation outside of the Q&A. I'm not an expert on anybody that is like a foreigner or doesn't also not only that, but anybody that has foreign assets, foreign income, or a foreigner or anything of that sort. Just not an expert outside of the scope of this Q&A. Next question.
Zabir is asking.
Zabir, hello Zabir.
I have a long.
By the way, guys, sorry, I'm going to interrupt. Anybody that participates the most today, Miron, I think already picking his 2 winners. You get 2 free books mailed to your address. Okay, retail price $20, I think, and $9 yours for free today. All you have to do is just ask questions for which I will give you answers. Next one. All right.
So Zabir is asking. I have a laundromat under C-corp.
Zabir, I want to open a laundromat too. I heard it's a pretty good cash business. Like it generates really nice cash. Can we talk? I'm actually being very, very serious. Okay, what's the question for Zabir?
It doesn't make sense to me why my accountant decided to create a C-corp for
You're-
the laundromat. I'm thinking about running the business as an LLC, sole proprietorship.
Oh God. Okay, cool. So Zabir has a laundromat. Zabir, are you with us? Zabir, say hello. Okay, so Zabir has a laundromat, and he says, I don't know why. That's the problem, by the way. I don't know why my accountant put me into C-corp. When a business owner doesn't know why, it's a big, big problem. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know why your accountant is doing something, then that means you are most likely overpaying in taxes. That means your accountant just needs to get it done and out of the way, and you have no idea what is going on, okay? So I don't know why either, Zabir. He put you in a C-corp. You cannot go into an LLC unless it's an LLC that chose to be a C-corp, then you can't go back. What you can do is convert the C corporation into an S corporation. But before I make that recommendation, I usually tell clients like, hey, I don't know why you're a C-corp. And the client says, well, I don't know why either. My accountant just did it. I said, you know what? There may be a good reason why your accountant did it. Maybe he wanted to do some initial planning, or at least in his head, never told you. Let's at least find out from him or her why, right? And if the accountant says, oh, well, I don't know, and then, like, you know, obviously it was a bad choice. So definitely try to find out, Zabir. Zabir said no. Zabir, I'm guessing you have no idea why, right? So Zabir, we're gonna talk about opening up a laundromat in New York. All right, next question.
So next question comes from Jenna.
Jenna.
Jen.
Jen or Jenna?
Jen.
Make up your mind.
What do
I don't understand. You it's written. You just gotta read it. I'm kidding. Miron is great, by the way. All right, let's go.
What do I need to do to convert an LLC from an S-corp back to disregarded entity?
Good question. Okay, so LLC is being taxed as an S-corp. This is Jen, you said, right?
Jen.
Jen or Jenna?
Jen.
God.
Jen.
Jen? Get it right. Okay. Okay, Jen. Thank you for correcting it. Where are you going? You got a call? We got 3 more minutes. I need you to read questions. Or call Jacob and call somebody in to read questions. People think they can do whatever they want, right? It's like, Boris, I'm leaving. Like, look at we're alive. All right, cool. Unbelievable. Okay, Jen, you actually asked an excellent question. Jen said, Boris, I have an LLC that is being taxed as an S corporation. What can I do to bring it back to an LLC? First of all, I hope you have a good reason. I'll answer your question right now, but then I will also tell you to please look out for some caveats. Jacob, come on in. Can you want to say hi to the camera? I don't know. You don't have a camera. Let's go. Guys, this is Jacob, all right? My brother-in-law, so I have to treat him nicely. All right. I'm kidding. Let's do it. So the last question we had was from Jen. We only have a few minutes left. I do have a hard stop, but Jen, first of all, Jen, you have to file an S corporation revocation letter. Okay, it's just a letter letting the IRS know, hey, we want to dissolve our S corporation, and you have to send in the signature of all the shareholders, right? The consent of all the shareholders. If you're the only one of the business, only shareholder, then that's good. You have to do it. So let's say you don't want to be an S corporation for 2023, you're already late, unless you have some exceptions. Again, speak to your advisor. In most cases, it's hard to terminate it if you're late. Your deadline to do it is January 1 to March 15. So for 2024, you have to file an S corporation revocation between January 1 until March 15 for that year, and then IRS will send, they're pretty responsive about that. They will send you a letter saying, hey, you're all good. Now, I want you to be careful. When you are revoking an S corporation status, you may have some assets that you invested in and now have a significant fair market value. The difference between what you invested and the fair market value of those assets could be a forced distribution on which you may have to pay capital gains taxes. Before you do an S corporation revocation, speak to your tax advisor and make sure that you are in the clear, because it could have tax consequences that could backfire. We have a couple more minutes left. Jacob, let's go. Who's the next question?
I think it's Miguel.
Miguel, yes.
How W-2 work with people with an ITIN number?
I don't know much about ITIN number, Miguel. We're going to skip that one. Let's go.
Bill, what does bonus depreciation apply to?
Bill, bonus depreciation applies to pretty much all the assets. Again, depending on what assets, but it applies to most assets generally, right? Bonus depreciation is 80%. That means that when you invest in an asset, you can take 80% of deduction in its first year. Next question.
Life Caddy, can I deduct tips from my S corp that give that I give to a subcontractor?
All right. Life Caddy is asking, hey, I'm paying tips to my subcontractors. Can I deduct it from an S corporation? Absolutely. Make sure you have documentation and make sure they bill you for it. I'm not really sure what you mean by tips. I'm guessing whatever you pay to your subcontractors. The answer is yes. All right, we'll take last 2 questions and we are ending this live. Next. Jen said no asset involved. Oh, Jen, I'm guessing you're talking about S corporation revocation. I get that, but please still speak to your tax advisor. Do not do this on your own. Please, okay? Super important. Next, last question, Jacob.
I think we're done with questions for now.
Okay. Xavier said excited about those books. Xavier, thank you. You still didn't tell me if we can talk about opening up a laundromat in New York, Xavier. You keep going around that question I asked, right? I answered all your questions. All right. And we are good with questions, guys. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We are going to be, I think Miron left. I don't know who the two winners are. Damn it. All right. I'm going to pick the two winners. Okay. So, let's see. I think the most questions came from. All right. Hold on. I think I know where the most questions came from. Miron left me with his job. Oh, man. Okay. He's definitely not Mariana. All right. Aaron asked a lot of questions. This is Aaron Titone. So go ahead. So, guys, you can email us with your address. Can you put in my email address? It's boris.musheyev@boris.tax. Say, hey, I participated. Here's my address. We're going to mail you those two books. So the winner is Aaron, and the winner is somebody else who was asking a lot of questions. Chandler. Yeah. All right, cool. We got the winner for those two books. Anybody that is watching replays, ask your questions on the replay. We'll pick a winner for the replays as well. Thank you all. And until next Thursday, when we're going to do another live at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much.